Okay, today we're going to move the fan shroud and the fan so you can access the accessory belts underneath on a 2003 Range Rover with the M62 BMW engine. And it's kind of an involved process. This is not something you'd want to do on the trail, so it pays to do a little bit of preventative maintenance in the garage before you go out. Anyway, the first step, we're going to work on the top, then we're going to go underneath. The first thing to do is take a 5mm Allen and get the shroud off. It's a quarter turn and they snap and unlock. Just gently pull that off. Now the shroud is off the engine, we got to take the intake air boot off, and we're going to take it apart right here. The mass airflow sensor, that screw there, and up front right there into the intake manifold. And we're going to have to remove this hose right here. I think this is the intake air sensor. Just push down on that, it'll pop itself right off. Set it off to the side. There's another vacuum hose right there, and that one just pulls off. And now we'll set that off to the side. Now as you notice, flathead screwdriver will work on these, but if you're in the shop, I like to use a 1/4 inch socket, 6mm 1/4 inch ratchet with a 6mm socket on it. Just loosen that up by hand. Just a little ways. Put this one. Out from the intake, kind of push it down, support this, wiggle that out. That. Oh, it's supposed to come up a little gentler than that. We're going to get rid of the bottom plastic. I want to call it a skid plate, but it's plastic. It's more like an air dam. We got to get this off. You know, a Phillips head here, a Phillips head here, and 5 10mm bolts across the bottom. Now I'm underneath, that's the passenger side wheel. Still more on the air dam. I am in off-road mode, so I can slide under. We got screw there, two. Back here, 3. And that's on that side. 1, 2, 3, 4. Driver's side wheel, like the passenger side, we've got 10 more bolts. Here's the front lip, that one we took off. There's the first bolt there, second bolt there, third bolt, fourth bolt, fifth bolt is on the back, right there. Okay, this underneath from the driver's side, it's the power steering pump, I believe. We're gonna have to get underneath near the middle are these hoses, and I've got them tied with zip ties, and I'll tell you why I do that. There's some grooves that you're gonna have to pop these out of. The hoses are held on by this clip right here, this plastic clip, but they can pop off. I had a hose fail, and notice how close that is. That's my hand to the pulley wheel. One of these popped off. Let's see, they can pop off. I've got it loose right now, and you can snap it on. On my finger. snap it on like that, or it can pop out. Snap it on. One of these popped out. Now they're caught by my zip ties, and it actually rubbed against this bottom pulley wheel right here. It gave me a fluid leak. Now you don't want that on the highway, the freeway, wherever. And so I put these zip ties in. We'll show you that modification in another video. But if you're trying to access the fan belts or do repairs, you're going to need to snip those zip ties and pop those fan belts out. So, see if I can do that with one hand so I can hold the camera. I got a third one back here. Now, with those out, you can pop the belts out of the groove, and there's 3 of them. Let's get that bottom one out there. Now, all those belts are loose. Alright, now we're going to remove the ones up, the zip ties that we have connected up top. You have little pin connectors here and here. If you still have the originals, just take a flathead screwdriver and pop them out, or grab them at the end with some pliers, needle nose, and pull them out. They'll come out. Again, I've got the zip tie modification we'll show in another video. We'll snip that. We'll move over to this one. Snip this. I got one on this bracket right here. Snip that. Okay, and then we'll shine the light here. And then there's one right here. You can zoom out and show them where it's at, right below this radiator line. I'll just reach under. I'll snip that. Okay. This you just kind of pinch and pull it out gently. Then I got one more zip tie right here. And I will pop that off. Right there. And it's tied on by that bracket right here. Get that out like that. Put that out of the way. Okay. Okay, now we're going to get rid of the fan, and this is a pain. You're going to want to buy yourself a BMW M62 fan wrench, which I believe is a 36 millimeter. I'll correct it in the video if I'm wrong. That would work too, but this is narrower, which you'll see will come in handy. And then you got this wrench right here, which you will use these 2 holes to lock the water pump so it won't spin, and then you'll break this back. We'll show you how it's done. See these 2 water pump bolts right there, and the one down there is where we are going to try to get that wrench to lock onto. All right, yep, so it's locked on. Oops, get that locked onto those bolts, and then we will spin this toward the driver's side. And then, once it's broke, you can almost spin it off by hand by spinning to the right. That is actually the hardest part of this job. Now be careful when you get near the end, because you're going to want to hold it. And then this housing comes out all together. I want to watch, make sure that's out of the way. You'll notice if you forgot your zip ties, you got a clip right here. You want to make sure that makes it out. Gently bring it up. You can have a clip here, a bracket here. You're going to watch that around the air conditioner compressor. Just kind of pinch in a little bit. And over here, you got the same thing with that bracket right there. Just pinch it in, lift it out. All right, now we're gonna put it back together. We got our zip ties ready if you're doing the zip tie modification. Made sure the cables are out of the way, the hoses are out of the way. We're gonna put the fan gently with the shroud, and you're gonna have to watch these clips on this side as well as this side. They come down pretty square. Just kind of pinch it in gently. Now there are two, okay, can you get in down here? There's two guides, one right here, and there's another guide on the other side right there. And you're going to try to get this. You can do it by feel, kind of eye it, do it by feel, and it should come down pretty easy. Looks like I've got it good. Okay, now on this side, this clip is going to come down into this groove right here. And then on this side, this clip has got a groove. This clip right here, it's going to be tough to see. It's got a groove, it'll fit down in there. And it should, if I point to the groove, it's right here. We can get the light on it. Let's see if I can get the light over here. There we go. Right there. See how that is going to slide into that bracket right there. And you know you're on. And those can slide right down. And these holes are pretty lined up. Now, you don't have to worry too much on the top side if you have it in those grooves down at the bottom, because you can play with it when you're underneath. We're just getting it pretty much in general position so we can get this fan on. So come over here and we'll show you the fan. You might have to get where I'm at. Now, we got to get the fan back on the water pump. Now remember, we spun it toward the driver to get it off. So we need to spin it toward the passenger to get it to start. And it doesn't like starting, so you may have to take your fan wrench, square. Let's see if we can get that fan and turn it. If you're lucky, looks like I might. This is a lot harder than it needs to be. Most fans you can just slide on, but mine, for whatever reason, has struggled. And you think you may have it, like I think I may have it right now, but don't give up for a while because it has a tendency to pop right off. Once you think you got a few threads on there, you can hand spin it like that, just towards the passenger until it stops, until the nut starts working. There you go. It just locked now, and you're good to go. It will self-tighten. You don't need to crank on it. You can kind of do that, but it'll self-tighten as the engine moves, so you're good. This hose right here, I just made a loop with the zip tie, and we are going to take, if I don't drop that down at the bottom, I'm going to take this loop, the zip tie that I made right here, loop it through. You can see, oops, let's get that racket down. You can see I made a loop. I'm going to go a little more click. There we go. I made a loop, and it's going to hold this hose up out of the way. It's because there used to be a clip here that hose would clip to, but it's gone now. And it just needs to be gentle. You can see I also put a zip tie here, which kind of holds that hose too against the brake line braid, oil line braid, where this white one is. So I also, you can see this white one, this is an old one we didn't snip. I looped it from the oil line here, stainless steel oil line here, to that same hose to kind of keep it out of the way. And also I have a black one below it right here, which ties it to the upper alternator hose too. And that's because 3 of those brackets wore away, and that keeps that hose away from the pulleys. The screwdriver to point, you've got a bracket here that wire will loop around, and then I created a zip tie harness, and we're going to take this wiring, which includes this sensor up here and the air sensor. Now's a good time to put this one back in. Just gently snap it in. Push it in, and it should go. Oops, I just snapped it out. There we go, that's in. Now we'll take this, we'll loop it inside and around. Right there and right there. And then we're going to take this, this is supposed to set just right here and clip down, but again the heat destroyed that, so we're going to take this and just loop it around this wiring sensor like so. Oops. We want to go around the sensor. We'll go around where it's taped so you don't rub against the wires. And just do it gently like that. And work it in. There we go. Now that one's in. Still it's kind of flopping, so we have this one right here, which we will get both that and the fan sensor. Put it in like that. Tighten that one down. It should keep this where it needs to be. Okay, that's good. We're going to put this one back on. I like to keep these clamps where they're accessible. We'll start by feeding it through here. Don't forget this lower vacuum line. Let's first get it started gently. You don't want to crack this. It should just be able to slide right on and twist. If it doesn't, you might have it too tight. And just bring this one down and set it in. It'll go right in. Make sure that's in. Now, take this bottom vacuum hose, set that in, just push it on. And same with this snap connection vacuum line. Set that in, just gently push, it'll snap like that, and it's in. Now, we take our 6mm, make sure that's accessible in case you need a screwdriver to get on it. Let's tighten that down. I don't like to go really tight, you just want to seal the air off, not break the connection. That's good. Over here. Again, I'm using the 1/4-inch ratchet so I don't get a lot of torque on this clamp. Starting to bind. It's probably good right there. And that's on. Yes. Now for the engine cover, these are just 1/4 turn snaps. I like to try to get the back one on first. Come back. There we go. There. Shake it until it pops in. Looks like we got it. 1/4 turn lock. 1/4 turn lock. It's a little out of place, I think. So there we go, got it in. 1/4 turn lock. 1/4 turn lock. And we're good. Get that segment stuff. Okay, now for the push pins. If you have the push pins, just push them in. Again, if you don't, we got to try to feed this through. Actually works better. Look underneath and feed it out from the aluminum side. It'll actually get tighter. Oops, we got lucky. Make sure again the flat side is facing the zip tie. And we'll cinch these down. They're going to be on an angle because it's not like the pin. So we can push that out. Come on. There we go. Get that down. Push that out. If you go too tight, these will actually break and you'll have to do it again. But you also don't want it to vibrate. Okay, let's do the same on this side. If you bend your head down, you can see that. You got that in. It's really not this easy. I've just done this more times than I want to. It's okay to get pliers to help you out. Tighten it down, and we're good. And when you're done, you can snip these so they're not hanging everywhere. Same with this one right here. Okay, that's good. Now, you can see the zip ties around the hoses there. First thing to do is get the hoses in the official clamps. There you go. And there you go. And then you can see where the zip ties go. And zip tie those not too tight, but just enough that if it pops off the factory clamps, you can keep it away from the pulley wheel. There is one of the groove slots. For the bottom, over here, I don't know if you can see, right there is the other one, and that's how you can tell if you're lined up. That's how it looks when they're all zip tied. There's the original clamps, and then you should have one back here that you can see, the original clamps and the others, just like that. This is how that air dam looks on the outside. The top is from the front bumper and the back is toward the vehicle. So that gives you an idea. You can see around the ring where those 13mm bolts are set.